Welcome back. You are watching Newscentre. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has announced that he will be resigning from his post tomorrow. This comes days after being released from Tihar jail after the Supreme Court granted him bail in the Delhi excise policy case. Addressing his party workers, Kejriwal said he wanted a certificate of honesty from the people of Delhi before sitting on the Chief Minister's chair. Meanwhile, the top brass of the Aam Aadmi Party will likely discuss who will become the next Chief Minister of Delhi today. Among the frontrunners is Minister Atishi. She spoke at the News 18 India Chowpal earlier today. Let's listen in.
क्या मैं भावी मुख्यमंत्री से बात कर रहा हूं क्या? हंसिए मत, बता दीजिए।
देखिए कल हमारी विधायक दल की बैठक है तो फैसला वहां पर
इतनी सारी मिनिस्ट्रीज आप संभाल रही हैं।
देखिए फैसला तो विधायक दल करेगा। दूसरा मैं एक बात आपको जरूर बता सकती हूँ, आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार जो दिल्ली में है उसका मुख्यमंत्री कल कोई भी बने, आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार दिल्ली की जनता के लिए काम करती आई है, काम करती रहेगी। हम कभी भी काम करने में पीछे नहीं हटेंगे।
We're now joined by Jasmine Shah, spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party, and Rashid Kidwai, author and senior journalist. Thank you for joining us on the program. Jasmine Shah, if I can begin with you. The first question which a lot of people are asking today, why not dissolve the assembly? Why seek preponement of elections instead to November? How would you answer that?
See, the entire matter of resignation of Mr. Kejriwal as well as Mr. Sisodia deciding not to come into the cabinet again has arisen because out of a personal vendetta campaign that has been launched by the BJP over the last 2 years, where almost all the investigative agencies in India were unleashed upon them. ED, CBI, IT, everybody was behind Kejriwal, and you have framed a case under the PMLA, a money laundering act which was designed for terrorists and drug dealers. You put that on an elected chief minister. You allege that some major corruption has taken place. But after 2 years of investigation, when no recovery has been made, no evidence was found, the Supreme Court finally gave bail to Mr. Kejriwal. So whatever relief Mr. Kejriwal could get from the Supreme Court, he has gotten it. But what BJP has done in the process is that they have tried to assault the image of the Delhi CM. And what is his image? He has come, he's defined a new, he's created a new definition for honesty and integrity in Indian politics. And therefore, it was his personal decision that unless and until the court of the country, the courts of the country have given him whatever relief is possible. Mind you, as on date, the trial has not even begun. BJP or ED or CBI is not even saying that when will we begin trial, because there is no case, there is no evidence. But he said that until the court of the people doesn't give him the blessing, doesn't tell him that no, Kejriwal ji, you are honest, we believe you are honest, only then I will sit in the chair of the CM. But there is no fault of the AAP government. People have voted the Aam Aadmi Party government because we made promises to the people. People love us for our schemes, be it world-class education in our government schools, our hospitals, clinics, free electricity, water, bus rides for women. So why should those works continue? If the government is dismissed, then these works may stop. And therefore, our intention is not that people should suffer, but by setting a new benchmark of integrity and honesty, Mr. Kejriwal has decided that I will go to the court of the people, let them decide, because courts have given me whatever relief, but that is not enough. No politician in Indian history has said or set this kind of a standard for integrity, that he's saying कि मैं ईमानदारी पे vote मांगूंगा, not on some caste or some religion. I will seek vote on the name of honesty. And I think that is what separates Mr. Kejriwal from all other politicians.
All right. Rashid Kidwai, do you feel this helps Arvind Kejriwal, considering the whole of the BJP's attack was against him in the Delhi excise policy case?
I think, Rashid, Mr. Kejriwal is being very, kind of smart. From an activist, he's become a seasoned politician. He's using mandate theory to, get himself vindicated, because remember, he was in a very messy kind of situation. There was a case, and as Jasmine says, there was no trial. Trial is yet to open, so it's going to be a long drawn thing. So what he's going to do is to go for elections, get himself elected. Remember, in the eyes of law, the two things are very different: getting elected and getting acquitted or getting convicted. But our politicians, and Mr. Kejriwal is no exception, have tried this, that if you win, first past the post system, get 40%, 45%, any number of votes, and you win, then you feel vindicated, and you take that high moral ground. So it's a very interesting situation. I think that it has put Kejriwal's gesture has put BJP in a bit of a spot, because BJP was very confident that Mr. Kejriwal will not be able to function and he will have to dissolve the house. But this is a new situation. If there is a new chief minister, then our constitutional scheme of things demand that that particular chief minister will become a caretaker chief minister till elections are held. So the BJP cannot delay Delhi elections. And remember, Kejriwal has roots in society. He's politically strong. So therefore, it will be very difficult for BJP to get him defeated in state assembly elections. So this is an interesting thing. I think in the sort of very difficult circumstances, Kejriwal has found a way to sort of, put himself, his prestige at stake and retrieve some lost ground.
All right. So even the court order had put some very strong conditions which should have impacted his functioning as a chief minister as well. Jasmine Shah, if I were to ask you, how soon can we expect a decision from the Aam Aadmi Party on the chief ministerial face or the caretaker chief minister for the next few months? A few names have been doing the rounds, but how soon can we expect clarity on that? And what do you think will be the criteria?
First, let me correct you. There is no concept of a caretaker CM in India, right? I mean, whoever is going to be the chief minister will be the chief minister of Delhi from the Aam Aadmi Party for the next whatever term is remaining of the government. Now, in terms of the duration, tomorrow morning there is a meeting of all the MLAs. Just as we are speaking now, the Political Affairs Committee of the Aam Aadmi Party has all the senior most leaders of the party. They are meeting together on this matter. Tomorrow the legislators will be meeting. Tomorrow the CM Arvind Kejriwal ji will be going to meet the Lieutenant Governor. So my sense is in the next 24 hours, as early as in the next 24 hours, you should have the next phase of the Chief Minister of Delhi. And obviously Mr. Kejriwal understands. You said what will be the criteria? Mr. Kejriwal understands that Delhi is not your typical state. Delhi is the only place where the central government does not let the elected CM to function as per the constitution. Every single day there are obstacles put in the pathway. The control of the bureaucracy has been taken away from the Delhi government. Never ever in the history of India has any chief minister worked under such few powers. And mind you, last year the Supreme Court actually gave a constitutional bench verdict giving all the powers back to the chief minister. The BJP could not digest it. Within a week, they passed an ordinance and took those powers away. The challenge of that ordinance is still pending. So it's a difficult state, and I'm sure it will be an experienced hand, somebody who will manage to run Delhi effectively and ensure that people do not suffer. You know, in this entire phase, we still have many months left before the elections, that the works of the government, the promises of the Aam Aadmi Party will continue to be delivered on the ground.
All right. Somebody who can make sure that all the agenda, the work of the Delhi government continues and continues well. Rashid Kidwai, if I were to ask you about Atishi, this is a name that has been doing the rounds. A lot of the work had been delegated to her by Arvind Kejriwal, by Manish Sisodiya. Do you think, considering the importance of women voters in our electorate, it might be a good idea for Arvind Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party to take the call?
I think, Prakshit, you have raised a very pertinent issue. This is a litmus test for Mr. Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party. In our country, we have several models. Very time, Jayalalitha, whenever she was jailed, she had a Paneer Selvam who would come in and go when she, when she was back, when she could become chief minister. We have Champai Soren, who became chief minister in place of Hemant Soren, but made a face when he was asked to go. So will Atishi do that, or will Mr. Kejriwal have a sort of national role and say goodbye to Delhi politics? All these things are there. If Mr. Kejriwal, MLAs, decide like what used to happen in Congress party, authorize Mr. Arvind Kejriwal to nominate, that would set another, precedence and a culture. So I am very curious and I'm very, keen to see how they negotiate. Atishi is a very good choice to my mind. It offers continuity and a lot of other things like women votes, etc. But how would you dislodge her after, sort of fresh elections are held? So is she going to be Champai Soren? Is she going to be, Paneer Selvam? Only time will tell.
Right. Let me go back to Jasmine Shah at this point. Jasmine Shah, if elections were to be held in November, there are other state elections also taking place. So does this mean that the Aam Aadmi Party and cases filed by the ED, the CBI against opposition leaders, will this become a major or the #1 poll plank of the opposition in other poll-bound states too? And will Arvind Kejriwal, as Mr. Rashid Kidwai was asking, will he play a larger role and campaign beyond Delhi as well?
Well, we actually saw this happening already in the Lok Sabha elections. The reason that the entire narrative of the India alliance was that in the Lok Sabha elections was that India is turning the page from a functional democracy towards a dictatorship, an authoritarian regime which has weaponized investigative agencies like ED and CBI. And this is data to show that 95% of all ED and CBI cases under Prime Minister Modi have only been on opposition leaders. I do not think any democratic country in the world has such a poor track record of using investigative agencies only and only to punish opposition leaders. So ED and CBI being used politically is already an agenda in the minds of people, not just in Delhi, across the country. And after the comments of the Supreme Court last week, when bail was given in the CBI case to Mr. Kejriwal, where the Supreme Court has said that in 11 years, when we last said that CBI was a caged parrot, nothing has changed. In fact, now ED has also become a caged parrot. So in effect, in the last 10 years, the country has only moved backward. Instead of ridding CBI from political interference, you have now made CBI and ED both as caged parrots. And I think it's a shameful track record. The Home Minister of the country should have actually taken responsibility for the Supreme Court's castigation and should have resigned. But unfortunately, we know that these things don't happen in the BJP. But that is the reality of the country. The voters know it. And I would say not just Delhi elections, in Maharashtra, we have seen opposition parties being targeted by CBI and ED. So this will be an agenda, I believe, in all elections.
All right. My final question to Rashid Kidwai. Rashid Kidwai, we've discussed what's at stake at the Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi. But what about the BJP in all upcoming state elections, especially Delhi? What's at stake for the party here, especially after what happens and the loss of seat share in the Lok Sabha elections?
Absolutely. I think, Rashid, it's a litmus test for Mr. Modi and BJP, because every time, suppose the BJP loses in Haryana to begin with, now that will have a huge impact. It's a North Indian state, very close to Delhi, and it will set a sort of process in motion that BJP is losing its mojo, it's losing its momentum. Then comes Maharashtra again, financial capital, high stakes, lot of utal-putal, lot of defection, lot of maneuvering the BJP has done. In spite of that, if they fail to retain Maharashtra, I think there's going to be no stopping. So that India alliance will gain momentum, and that's where I feel Mr. Kejriwal, who's ratings have been ahead of, I would say, M.K. Stalin and Mamata Banerjee and several other state chief ministers, would want to be a player in national politics and see his chances. He may not be a prime ministerial candidate, but if there is a kind of India alliance government by 2029 or so, Mr. Kejriwal would want to eye some kind of big portfolio like finance or something like that. So Mr. Kejriwal is a very ambitious person, and I think that's where these elections in 4 states, I would say Jammu Kashmir, Haryana, Maharashtra, Jharkhand, and of course Delhi, would have huge bearing on Mr. Narendra Modi's government and the continuation. There is no threat to Mr. Modi's government, but each sort of pulled vehicle will dig a sort of big hole, and it will question the stability of Narendra Modi government.
All right. Okay, we've run out of time, but thank you very much, Mr. Rashid Kidwai and Jasmine Shah, for joining us on the program. Next 24 hours, crucial for the Aam Aadmi Party and the politics of Delhi. We'll keep an eye out for all the developments. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.